Imagine being the investigator who uncovers secret payments, a trail of cash leading straight into the heart of the Epstein scandal. It's one of the most infamous names in history, yet the money trail has remained largely hidden until now. This isn't just about sex trafficking anymore. This is about power, corruption, and who's been allowed to get away with it all. And here's the twist. There's a name involved that might shock you. Senator Ron Wyden, the ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee, is turning up the heat. He's been following Epstein's money for years, and now everything's starting to unravel. But why is this coming to light now? What's the real story behind these explosive new revelations? Let's dive into the web of lies and deceit and see where it leads. For years, Epstein's financial activities have remained mostly hidden, shielded by a web of secrecy and high-powered connections. But now, with every move under intense scrutiny, Senator Wyden is revealing explosive new details that change everything. It all comes down to one thing: following the money. In a letter to Robin Vance, the CEO of BNY Mellon, Wyden dropped a bombshell. Vance may not have been the CEO at the time of Epstein's transactions, but now the ball's in his court. He has the power to either cooperate or let the truth stay buried. Inside that letter, there's one detail that stands out: a shocking list of transactions. $20 million, not all at once, but in perfectly timed $1 million chunks. And these payments weren't just random, they were made with eerie precision. Between January and September 2007, Epstein sent out $21 million transfers every few weeks like clockwork. It's as if someone was trying to keep these payments under the radar. But here's the thing: it wasn't just about sending money. It was about timing, and that's where things get suspicious. As you look at the dates, you'll see the payments line up almost exactly with major moments in the Epstein case, the very same moments when he was being investigated by the Justice Department. Was the money being used to cover up something bigger? Let's break it down. Epstein's payments weren't just strange, they were a red flag the size of a billboard. Senator Wyden points out that these exact transfers should have been flagged under the Bank Secrecy Act. Banks are supposed to report suspicious transactions, especially ones that follow such an odd pattern. You'd think someone would have caught on, right? But no, nothing was flagged back then. Imagine this: it's 2007, and Epstein is making these transactions like clockwork. Meanwhile, the Justice Department is moving in on him. By July, they've got an indictment ready. By September, they've signed a non-prosecution agreement, and then just 2 days after that agreement is finalized, the final $1 million payment goes out. The timing is enough to make any lawyer raise an eyebrow. What was happening in those months? What were these payments really for? Why wasn't the bank asking questions back then? Now Senator Wyden is demanding answers. He wants to know what the bank knew, when they knew it, and why they let this continue. The stakes have never been higher, but it doesn't stop there. Wyden's not just focused on these $1 million payments. He's digging deeper. He's asking for all the cash transactions over $10,000 that Epstein made. Every single one. If the money trail is going to be uncovered, this is the key: who else was involved? Where did this money end up? And more importantly, why wasn't anyone paying attention earlier? Here's where it gets even more unsettling. In 2019, after Epstein's arrest, BNY Mellon flagged an astonishing $378 million worth of suspicious transactions. More than 270 wire transfers were uncovered. Yet nothing was done in time to protect the victims. And this wasn't just one bank. This was the financial system letting Epstein's operations continue unchecked. Now, Wyden is calling out not just the bank, but the system that allowed all of this to happen. He's demanding transparency. He wants to know what they missed and what they're still hiding. If the bank had acted sooner, how many lives could have been saved? The questions are mounting, and so are the stakes. Now, it's not just about the money, it's about who was getting paid and where that money was going. Enter Ghislaine Maxwell. In June 2007, just as Epstein was working his non-prosecution deal, another set of transactions took place, ones that should have raised every alarm bell in the room. On June 15th, Epstein wired $7.4 million from one of his BNY accounts to Maxwell's account at JPMC. The very same day, Maxwell transferred that exact amount into an account under the name Air Galen at JPMC. Then just a few days later, Maxwell wired $7.3 million to South Swarovski aircraft for a down payment on a helicopter, a green helicopter no less. No questions asked, no red flags, no reports under the Bank Secrecy Act. This wasn't just a money transfer, it was a blatant, high-profile move that screamed illegal activity. Yet the bank didn't report any of it. If Epstein was working out a deal to protect himself and Maxwell, this was the moment. The money was moving, and it was moving fast. And the bank? Completely silent. But here's where it really starts to get crazy. The timing of these transfers wasn't just suspicious, it was crucial. This is the exact period when Epstein was negotiating his non-prosecution agreement, the deal that would shield him from prosecution and allow him to continue his operations. It's no coincidence that Maxwell was moving this money around right when the deal was being finalized. Now, Wyden's letter demands transparency from the bank. He's not just asking for the financial records. He's asking the real questions. Did anyone at the bank question these transactions? Did they know something was off but ignore it? Did they simply look the other way because the money was coming from a powerful client? These aren't just financial details. They're a trail of criminal activity, and the fact that this all happened in plain sight is enough to make your blood boil. Senator Wyden is making it clear the bank failed its basic duties. This wasn't just a mistake. It was an ongoing failure to protect vulnerable victims. The harm is done, but maybe, just maybe, if the bank cooperates, they can at least start to undo the damage. Now let's take a step back. The situation we're dealing with isn't just about Epstein or even Maxwell. It's about the systems that allowed them to get away with this for so long. The financial system, the justice system, the political system, each one failed in its own way. Banks are supposed to be the watchdogs, ensuring that money isn't being funneled into criminal operations. But when the money is coming from powerful people with powerful connections, who's going to stop them? This isn't a simple case of negligence. This is a systemic failure, a web of complicit silence where everyone turned a blind eye to protect the elite. And let's be clear, it's not just about what happened with Epstein, it's about how many others are getting away with similar schemes right now, using the same tactics, the same systems that we've come to trust. The mechanisms are there, the leverage is there, and as Wyden is pushing, we have to ask, what's really at stake here? How much power does the system hold to cover up the truth, and how much power do we, the public, have to force it open? Here's where things get even more uncertain. There are two possible paths forward from here. One, the bank cooperates, they open up their records, and we finally get answers. The victims might see justice, the system might be exposed, and the truth could be revealed in ways we've never seen before. But that path is a long shot. The system is deeply entrenched, and the people involved have the power to keep it all under wraps. The other path? The bank refuses to cooperate, the investigation stalls, and we're left with more unanswered questions. Epstein's empire remains in the shadows, untouched. Maxwell's role stays buried, and the public's trust in the system continues to erode. This isn't just about one man. It's about an entire network that's still operating under the radar. One thing's for sure, the pressure is building, the clock is ticking, and every move from here could tip the scale in either direction. We're witnessing a turning point, but we're still not sure which way it's going to go. In the end, it's not just about what's been uncovered, it's about what comes next. The question isn't whether Epstein's money trail will finally be exposed, it's whether we as a society are willing to follow it to its logical conclusion. We're talking about more than just a few $1 million. We're talking about a system that enabled one of the most horrific criminal operations in modern history, and possibly a system that's still doing it today. So what happens if the truth comes out? What does that mean for the rest of us? How much more will we learn as the layers of this twisted story continue to peel back? One thing is certain, the next move is already in the works, and we have to ask, who's going to make it? If you want to see how this story continues to unfold, don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest updates. The battle for justice is far from over.